Hey y'all, this is Judith of Judith Tomorrow Design, judithtomorrow.com. I'm doing a summer solstice reading. I haven't done a reading for a while for all sorts of reasons. Probably the most present one is the fact that in all the time recently that we've had of changes, when I look at the time frame of change, it actually makes more sense for me to do an overarching reading as opposed to a new moon to new moon reading, which is a little bit too short of a cycle. It gets us into a little bit too much of a bumpy up and down sort of thing because there's so much going on. A solstice to equinox reading, which is what I'm going to do now, gives us a greater overview of the energies that are hitting the earth right now and attempting to incarnate. So I'm going to start right in. It's a longer reading than usual. It's got 4 cards. I'll try and post an image of this at either the end of the video or in my Instagram post. Just the cards themselves, they can have energetic impact. The first card coming up, or the first 2 cards coming up, I'll do them together because they are the first phase of what's going on right now, is gateways and time. So what I sense from this is that there is a cycle that is from now to about the middle of July. And the way that my guides describe it is just there's a little bump. We're going to have a bump experience, and this describes the bump experience. From now until July, we are focusing on packing for the future. This is the best way I can describe it right now. Time, the time card, it's an interesting card. It's a metaphysical understanding of the way time and space interact. And time, if you think about it, is space in motion and a certain context that we bring along with ourselves. That sounds a little abstract, but basically what this card is meaning in this particular situation is that we are reassembling our sense of self, our sense of what our context is, what our environment is around us, to match future goals of which we don't fully understand what they are right now. We have a sense, there's a great reorganization happening within us about what we are, who we are, and what our context is. You see that a lot in the Black Lives Matter, this social justice unrest expression, and coming to the surface as we sort of unpack what is not meaningful to us, which is not that we don't want to matter anymore. We don't want certain matter to stick to us. We want a different kind of matter to surround us. It's really interesting. I never made that connection between the matter of Black Lives Matter and the matter of this card. So we are rearranging in some ways the context of our matter to be more intelligent, holistic, compassionate, loving, supportive, authentic, real, human, genuine, that sort of a thing. So that we can move into the future with a different organization and understanding of who we are as a complete context and environment, and that includes other people as well. This first card is Gateways, which has come up a lot in the last year, not surprising, especially in the last 6 to 8 months, I would say. Gateways is about stepping from one context into a radically different context. I call it the "we're not in Kansas anymore" Toto card, because it is about sort of stepping through a gate into another endless and expansive world that is not necessarily similar to or connected to a previous context that we've been living in. So this unpacking and repacking and reconfiguring of ourselves is from now into July, middle of July, where the way they're saying, where there's going to be some sort of serious upset right there in the middle of July of some sort that is going to push us through basically that gateway. um, with our assemblage of stuff around us. Ideally, some stuff that is more suited to who we are. So the second layer, the second bump or over the bump, over that threshold of the gate, we've got two other cards that are describing from mid-July-ish to the fall equinox. So it's a really interesting set of cards. These are all kind of like, it's not a smooth sort of harmonic kind of a reading. It is more of a new world kind of reading. There's not, with these cards especially, there's not a lot that you can cling on to. There's not a lot of structure. I think that's why in the first half, this sort of reassembling of ourselves around a new sense of self or a new structure is important, because we kind of get to the germ of who we are. And we pack the essentials. We pack, our travel cup and our security blanket and, whatever it is that we need to sort of uh, make ourselves be able to move fast when we need to. This first card, actually, this is the first one, is called Deafness. It's a very hard card to explain. And this second card is called Bent. And collectively, it's interesting because this is an inward card and this is an outward card. This card is a lot about not finding the structures and the validity from our external environment, but instead stepping beyond or seeing beyond or listening beyond the immediate list of things our society says is required or not required, to a farther visionary. See that you get this guy, he's listening very intently with a very focused look. This is sort of like the planet's Earth edge, and this is the vision of the future, the environment of the future that is not quite manifest, does not quite come into physical matter, but it is, its essence or germ, its energy is sort of present and placed in this, I almost want to say amorphous goo, that by focusing on it, it starts to become a material reality. It starts to collect itself around its idea. And I think a lot of what's happening with COVID, with the experiences we've had with COVID, with the Black Lives Matter, with all the social justice and the importance of that, is that we do have this existent structure. I almost want to say metaphysical structure, because it's not quite formed yet. And we are pulling matter through our focus and our intention and our will and our impulse to move there. We're pulling that matter together into this new form. And this card, Bent, is about following an internal guided sense of where we're going. Usually it means a personal sense. In this case, I think it has less to do with a personal sense and more to do with sort of a, so like normally this card, what is called bent, it's like if you think about our natural inclinations and our natural bents, our natural talents, our natural purpose and our soul purpose, if you conceive of it that way, that is guiding us. But it also has the capacity, just by the nature of this card, which is the 12 of structure, to connect into this bigger framework that kind of is about finding your place in a network, a web, so to speak, of other beings and other people who are all falling into their own place around it. There's a really powerful aspect of what's going on in the sort of the metaphysical or energetic atmosphere right now, where we are, many of us are finding ourselves falling into a place that has resonated with us for a long time, um, but has been tenuous or tentative, like we couldn't quite sit there. And I sort of think of it as everyone's like been cued, and it's like, it's starting now, everyone take your places. And we all have sort of an internal understanding. Our body is doing it on its own, of finding the place that we are most powerful, most effective, most able to create a new world or move this world forward. So you can see, if you put these two cards together, with the inward card and the outward card, it is a simultaneously putting ourselves into this grander place and collectively moving forward past the boundaries and constrictions that our society has said is possible or not possible, or our world has said is possible or not possible, and really giving our attention to this new energetic structure, intention, drive, vision, to give it material reality. So that's it in a nutshell. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to pop a comment into whatever platform you see this on, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or what have you. You can always email me. I'd love to hear how it's impacting your life. My email address is judith@judithtomorrow.com. You can visit my website. There's a comment box there too somewhere. And that's all. Good luck to everyone. I will try to post just a straight up image of these cards, and take care of yourself. All right. Bye-bye.